Wow, I am really impressed at how beautiful this coffee season is looking. Take a look at this cherry here. That looks amazing. Look how beautifully loaded these coffee beans are. Welcome to my favorite time here in beautiful Nicaragua, and that is coffee harvest season. Our season here at our beautiful farmstead goes from December to March, and that is when these cherries are ripe and everyone's out in the field picking coffee. And this is my favorite time because it is rainy, it is green, the plants are blossoming with these cherries that looks like Christmas. They're bright red, green. There's a lot of commotion in the air, a lot of people picking coffee, people talking. The environment just feels like there's a lot of energy. Now, it hasn't been a really easy harvest. We've had our challenges. Let me show you around. We're gonna tour a few of the plantations today. Plus, we have a lot of work here in the farmstead that we need to get done with the cabin that we're building. One of the biggest challenges that we had here was, almost broke my back there, but one of the biggest challenges that we've had here is finding people. So the newer generation really doesn't want to farm coffee, so people to come to the farm and spend 15 days here has been more difficult, and partly too because I'm new to farming, so I'm getting to know all the people and where to look for people. So thankfully we have some people here. We're making sure we pay everybody well because one, they deserve it. Two, it's an expensive world out there, man. It just costs an arm and a leg to live your life now, so we want to make sure they make enough to survive and thrive, right? So we pay them well to keep them here, and hopefully they keep coming back longer and longer and years later. So finding people has been, I think, one challenge. So what you see here is actually a green coffee bean, and then the red ones are ready to harvest. So these are ready to be picked, and this is what the team is working in. This is what Cuco here is working in. And then there's these ones right here, what we call pinto in Nicaragua, and that's on the way to become ready to be harvested. So we definitely don't want to pick this one or this one because the flavors won't be good. The thing is that what most people don't know is that when you drink cheap coffee, like really cheap coffee, they don't care. They'll pick everything at once. So when you're drinking that coffee, you're getting this green coffee, you're getting defect coffees that are in the plant that are over fermented, and everything is just being thrown together into that cup of coffee because they don't care about the quality. They don't care about if it tastes good. They just want to get volume out. So when you're drinking cheap coffee, it hurts my soul to say this to you guys, but just so you know, you're drinking coffee that has everything mixed in there. It's almost like eating a steak that's not cooked well, or eating an apple or a mango that hasn't ripened. You know, it's the same thing with coffee. Why would you drink that, you know? But most people don't know. Challenge number 2 has been the weather. So the weather hasn't been predictable. So when it rains a lot, the plant tends to mature faster, and it matures a lot faster than when we need. Usually we wait 15 days every time we harvest. So we harvest one time, we wait 15 days for the plant to mature again, and then we harvest again. But when there's consecutive rain, like this month we've had 6 days of straight rain, the harvest will come a lot faster. And when it comes a lot faster, then the problem is you don't have the people at the farm because you were supposedly waiting 15 days. So then you have to rush to go find people. If not, your coffee will over mature on the plant, it will fall on the ground, or it will split open on the plant. So that's number 2. Challenge number 2 is the weather. And unfortunately, you can only work with the weather so much.
Waking up under all this rust, it's raining in my room. The water falls in pools until I'm getting carried away, riding on the back of the wave. So I let go, come what may. But all
So I haven't been up in the cabin for the past few days because I've been doing editing down in the city and traveling a little bit. But I just came inside the cabin and I saw something that's horrible. Again, it's the second time that this happens, is that we had a bird crash into one of our windows. So if you're an avid follower of the channel, you saw that one bird cracked the window here. So look at that. He cracked that window, and that window got cracked right when we just finished installing them. And then today in the morning, another bird flew in and another bird cracked this window right here. Take a look at that. And that crack is huge. It goes from here to here. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing now with these windows. So here's the window outside. We've actually covered this window because we're having a problem with our gutter. When it rains a lot, it hits into the window and then it goes inside the house. And the reason is because the gutter is not slanted properly, so it's not draining. So in the meantime, we put this up to protect it, but the bird came over here and hit right over here. You can see that little scab right there, right where it hit. So this is where I need your guys' help. If you have any ideas on what we can do with this side of the wall here that outfaces the mountain to prevent birds from hitting here. We're in the tropical jungles. Here in the farm we preserve the birds, meaning we don't hunt them. We encourage more birds to come. So we're gonna have a lot of this throughout the years while we're building this and we're actually living here. So comment below any ideas on what we can do to prevent birds coming over here and hitting on these windows. So unfortunately, it's part of the game. It's part of living out here. You live and you learn. If I knew this was gonna happen, I don't know if I would have made these windows this big, but all right, the game plan for today is that we need to continue on this wall right here. Last time we left the farm, we were working on the front of the house, which was really exciting because it was almost towards the end of all the walls that we need to frame. And so today it's going to be some exciting times because we'll get to frame what's remaining here. Let me show you. So this is the front of the home. So that's our entrance right there where those double doors are. And we need to finish this top half right here. Take a look at that. After that, we need to move on to window trims, sanding, and covering the holes. But today's focus is to get as far along as we can with this top half here to cover that thermic barrier. And that will mean this wall is done. And then if we move over here, this side wall needs a little bit more work. This is what we finished last week, but it's looking good overall. Now let me show you this third wall over here. Now this third wall, unfortunately, we ran out of wood that is straight enough to use for this project. So I'm gonna have to get creative and see what I'm gonna do for this wall right here. You see, I'm thinking about doing some metal sheets and paint it matte black. It's like a trend that I've seen in Pinterest.
Don't let me go. I've said too much. Don't let me go. I've said too much. If we were strangers walking down the dead end street, would you look my way?
I just love the way this is turning out. It's looking spectacular. And the fact that this is a walnut tree from the farm, made and harvested here at the farm and then built with our hands, is just such a beautiful feeling and is giving it like character. When I look at it, it's not perfect. There's a lot of imperfections and it looks very rustic, but that's the reason I love it, because it just gives it character. It almost looks like an unfinished piece of art, in my opinion, and I love the way it's turning out. I need your opinion below. Comment, do you think we should stain the wood a dark color or maybe put an oil on it to preserve the natural color of the wood? Comment below. I really want to know what do you guys think would be the best look here. The The coffee that we're drinking today comes straight from the mountains behind you. There's actually people in those mountains right now harvesting coffee. You just can't see them because they're so far in there. We're gonna go ahead and pour this in here. I actually roasted this coffee myself. So here goes the fresh morning cup of coffee, more like afternoon here in Nicaragua. But I wanted to tell you guys that so far on the build, we've spent around $20,000 and we've gone over budget slightly. And that's because this is the first time building something this big in Nicaragua, and we've learned a lot. So I'm going to be doing a video later on the channel showing you guys some information on how much money we spent. But on top of that, I'm going to be doing something pretty cool for my Patreon members. We started a Patreon a few weeks ago in order to keep the dream alive and fund a bunch of projects and content creation that we're doing here in Nicaragua. And for you guys on Patreon, I'm gonna release a PDF of a full breakdown on how much we spent, materials and labor. That way you can take a look at it if you ever want to build in Nicaragua, or maybe it interests you to see what it is to live abroad and how much it costs to build another home in a different country. So that's going to be for my Patreon members online for you to check out. And for those of you that hasn't signed up for Patreon, consider joining us in Patreon. We share a lot of behind the scenes that you don't see on normal YouTube. I post frequently there, pictures, family stuff, travel vlogs, and a lot of tips and tricks about life in Nicaragua. And not only that, you're helping us keep the movement alive. So be on the lookout for that. But I would say that building in Nicaragua, it's come with its challenges, like finding right people to build your home, the right materials, and everything else that goes along with building. It's been a really good experience, and we learned a lot so far. So for lunch today, check it out. We have rice, we have beans, potato, chicken, and it's home cooked over an open flame. Amazing. So good. Nothing like farm food. Esta planta tiene más de 7 años. So here we have some coffee that's been drying. So this was harvested about maybe 3 days ago. So it's been spending some time drying here, and not in the sun because there's no sun, more like in the gray clouds. But eventually I'm gonna have to bring this down into the city because it's raining so frequently here and there's so much humidity in the air that I won't be able to dry this in the farm. So right here we have about I would say about 100 pounds of coffee, and we're expecting more these next few days because you saw the whole team out there just harvesting coffee, and they have it up here already where we're gonna start to depulp the coffee. Let me show you guys. So this coffee was depulped yesterday, so it's been fermenting. So we want to ferment the coffee here for about 24 hours to let all those flavors get in there and develop. So this is going to be depulped later today, and it's going to go into the drying bed that you just saw. And then we have another area here, which this is what we call a pila in Nicaragua, where the new coffee that they harvested is up here. It's going to get depulped in that machine. It's going to fall here for fermentation. Eventually they're going to come out over here and we're going to wash it, and it's going to end up exactly what you saw over here on the raised bed. So each step we want to make sure that we're doing it carefully though, because if you mess up, you mess up the flavors. And that's part of our philosophy here in the farm, is that we really care about delivering the best cup of coffee we can. And this year's harvest, we're expecting more volume than last year, which is amazing. Some of the plants that we've been planting over the past 3 years have starting to fruit, and so we're seeing a little more volume, which is going to be great. So we'll have a little more inventory on our website here. All right, back to the mission, guys. Today we need to finish this other half here. We're done with that half, as you saw, and it's looking amazing. So let's jump in right here. Let's see how difficult it is. Hopefully it's easy like the other side, and we can have this whole front side already framed out. And I would say that deserves a thumbs up because it's a lot of work. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna unload some things from the farm here. We need to leave some fertilizer behind, some concrete, and some other stuff for fixes here in the farm. But take a look at it. The cars parked in our garage area. Then we have our beautiful home coming together. Then the front patio that we still need to build out and put a hammock in. But it's slowly looking like a home. Look how amazing. I'm super happy with the progress today. We repeated a lot of cuts, made a few mistakes, but hey, we're still alive and we managed to finish the front here. So for the next like 3 weeks, I think I need to find someone to help me because the progress is going a little bit slow and I need to move in soon. So I'm gonna look in Ocotalo, around the area that I live in, to try to find a carpenter. So there's gonna be vlogs on that on the channel. I'm gonna drive around trying to find a carpenter here in Nicaragua. But either way, let's get the truck unloaded. I have to say today was a productive day at the farm. It was a beautiful time. Harvest season always gets me excited. If you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're building this beautiful farm. In the future we want to do a lot more in Nicaragua, and with you guys subscribing, sharing and commenting, then we can get further with our projects. Also check out our Patreon if you want more behind the scenes, or if you want to get in touch with me. I'll leave a link below for everything else. Everything that you guys do, buy coffee, Patreon, goes back into keeping this dream alive and making more content for you guys. Hasta luego. It is your coffee familia. I'll see you next week's video.